Hello, everybody. Saturday morning. Looks beautiful out there today. Rocking my little Maras today. Maras. They out there grinding, man. They're involved with some good kids. They're doing a great job up there. They're really involved with some players who can go. So today I'm going to give you a quick understanding of how the early bird D1 list works. Now, look, I'm going to drop that this afternoon. Obviously, I'm dropping it later than most years, okay? Usually, I drop the early bird list 2 weeks ago. But the portal being what it is now has changed the timing on the D1 commitment and who's getting offers now because, people are still active in the portal even though it's closed. And some of them, if not most of these schools, don't know what their needs are going to be, and they don't know who they're going to get out of the portal. So they don't know how much money they're going to have. So I backed it up. That at least gives a little more time for me to see where we go with this. But let me talk about the early bird D1 list, what you must understand. First, there are the D1 locks. Those are the kids who have multiple Division I offers. Not one, but multiple. Now, keep in mind, I am not listening to an AAU coach. I am not listening to a kid or a parent when they tell me their kid's got offers. I pay no attention to that. I'm only making you a D1 lock if I got from a coach's lips to my ears that particular kid is a Division I player. Then you have the kids who mostly younger kids who don't have D1 offers yet, but I know from my experience, they're going to be a Division I player. It's not worth talking about. Like Antonio Jackson is going to be a Division I player. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that. So you got to understand that those type of players are in a different category. Then you have the fence sitters. These are the kids who either got fake offers. That's an offer when the kid tells me I have an offer, and then you speak to a coach and they go, yeah, we like her, we offered up a tiny, we're not there yet. Those kids have offers, but there's no way they're going to collect on them. And that's usually for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. You very rarely, if ever, see a senior get a fake offer because guess what? They might take it. And so no coach wants that to happen until they're sure about a kid. And then finally, you have your fence sitters, the kids who are sitting on that fence, who could wind up as a Division I player, but can also wind up as a Division II or Division III player. Now, when I put a fence sitter on the list, it's dangerous because people go, well, that kid didn't go D1. I never said the kid was a D1 lock. There's a big difference. Now, with that all being said, keep in mind that you could not make this list and wind up as a Division I player. Would I be being dishonest if I told you it happens a lot? Yes, because it does not happen a lot. Every year I might miss one or two, and on a bad year I might miss 3 kids. Like, I did not have Christina Donzo on the D1 list. I did not have Abby Meister on my D1 list, and they both became Division I players. Savannah Sewell, Caroline Holloway, both on the early bird D1 list. And you may say, well, see, they didn't go D1. Yes, but they had D1 offers. Caroline Holloway had D1 offers. Savannah Sewell had D1 offers. And they both chose to go to high-end academic D3 schools. That happens. Cameron Gardner last year was on the early bird D1 list, had multiple D1 offers, and decided she didn't want to play D1 basketball. She just wanted to be a student. So there are things that go into the mix in all this that change things. Now, look, we're going to see some signings going on, or I should say commitments, I believe, after the next recruiting period. I think kids are hoping to improve their status after May. But I also think kids are trying to game the recruiting, and they're thinking, well, after May, I'll make a decision because I want to make a decision by July so I don't get caught out there. I'm telling kids this. You playing with fire doing that. I'm telling you that. Because some of you are going to wake up after that next live period and find out there's no scholarship there anymore. I flat out know 2 kids right now who should be jumping on their office and not doing it. It's a mistake by both of them. Well, how do I know that? Because they're both being recruited by the same school and only taking one of them. So, this is Tiny Green, I hope you understand how the D1 Early Bird works. Everybody have a great Saturday. Hopefully you're playing well in your events. Please get registered for the camps. Go to nothingbutskills.com to see all my camps. Remember, I won't be conducting camps at the Hoop Group, though at some point I'll be back at the Hoop Group. Just for now, this summer, I'm rolling in another direction. This is Tiny Green saying, go get them, people.